Hello, everyone. Welcome to NEXTTECH 2020. We'll begin in just a moment. Hello, everyone. This is Brandy Nagel. Welcome to NEXTTECH 2020 for September. We're happy to have you here. We'll begin in just about a moment.
To those of you who may be on the West Coast, my name is Donna Ennis, and welcome to our third NEXTTECH 2020 Challenge. We really appreciate you joining us today for this program that connects innovative minority businesses with companies and federal agencies that are looking for technology solutions. Brandy? You need to advance the slide.
Just a moment.
Thank you so much. As I said before, my name is Donna Ennis, and I am the director of the MBDA, Atlanta MBDA Advanced Manufacturing Center and the Atlanta MBDA Business Center. Before we get started, I'd like to thank our corporate sponsors, EBCO and Train Technologies, for sponsoring this program and other programs from our center. I'd also like to thank our supporter today, the Air Force Research Laboratory, for helping to make this program a success. We really appreciate your support and look forward to working with you. As I said before, I am the director of two MBDA centers here in Atlanta. MBDA, we're part of a national network of centers and special projects that are funded by the Department of Commerce Minority Business Development Agency. Our goal is to grow and strengthen minority businesses through a variety of different programs and projects that we work on every day. Our mission here is, as I said before, is to help minority business enterprises experience significant growth, create jobs, and become sustainable. We do have a network of about 35 plus special centers, business centers, and projects that work on with MBEs every day. Here are the four buckets, as we call them, that we work on for our impacts. We normally work on markets and helping you access and secure new markets and opportunities. So, for example, our NEXTTECH program is an example of how we bring new opportunities to our companies. We also help our companies access and acquire capital from debt to equity, build capacity and infrastructure, as well as access the myriad of resources and expertise that we have available to us through a national ecosystem of collaborative partners that work together to help grow and strengthen our minority business community. Just to give you a snapshot of what our impacts look like for the Atlanta Business Center and Advanced Manufacturing Centers over the past 15 years, we've helped companies secure about $3.5 billion in contracts in finance. We've served over 20,000 minority businesses, and we've helped create or retain 6,500 jobs. This is really important to us because as we help our companies grow and become profitable, it also helps to have a positive economic impact on our nation and on our communities. Here's our great team of it's 8 of us, and Brandy's on the line here, who as our program manager, focused on helping with NEXTTECH. Jamarcus King, who is here with us today, is with JNF Alliance, and he's also on our NEXTTECH team to help us build this program. I also have a team of capital folks, Anita Davis and Jennifer Pasley, who help source capital, as well as marketing and program people, which are Arsha, Aisha, and Lauren Roberts. So we thank our team. I thank my team, our team, for working so hard together on this program. So let's talk a little bit about NEXTTECH 2020. NEXTTECH 2020 grew out of a desire, if you will, or it grew out of an idea for us to help our minority businesses move further up the supply chain. Typically, when companies come into a procurement opportunity, they go through a channel where they may bid on contracts, opportunities or proposals in order to get contracts. But what we recognize is that there's oftentimes opportunities in the research and development part of the supply chain, and that we wanted our companies to understand where the technology challenges are for our corporations and federal agencies, and thus we could bring technology solutions from our minority business community to the supply chain. It is a reverse matchmaking program. That is, instead of companies, I know many of you are used to pitching, if you will, to corporations and agencies, it's the reverse. Our agencies and our partners and supporters pitch to you. They tell you about their challenges and what they're looking for in a technology solution, and then you apply. There is an application process, and I think there's a few of you on the line who have applied for this particular challenge. But there is an application process, and we send those applications over to our partner, who you'll meet today, and then we review those applications and set up meetings. NEXTTECH is an ongoing program. It's a pilot project that we launched in May 19th with the Department of Energy. We've since had one other NEXTTECH presentation, and this is our third one, so we really thank you for joining us here today. So let's introduce our next guest from the Air Force Research Laboratory. Dr. David Stargell is the Deputy Chief Scientist of the 711th Human Performance Wing of the Air Force Research Laboratory. That is quite a mouthful. However, as you can see from the slide here, he has an illustrious career. The wing is comprised of over 2,000 personnel spreading over 8 operating locations with an annual budget in excess of $300 million. He is the primary science and technology advisor to the chief scientist in the wing leadership, and he graduated summa cum laude from Florida A&M, earning his doctorate in mechanical engineering from the University of Maryland at College Park. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce you to Dr. David Stargell. Thank you.
Thank you, Donna. It's definitely a pleasure for me to be here. This is one of the best aspects of my job, is going out and interacting with the community and just making people aware of some of the needs that we have across the Air Force, and see where we can find some innovative solutions across the country. So this is definitely a great platform for us to participate in, and we've had a long-standing relationship with Georgia Tech, so I'm happy to see that continue. All right, Brandy, you want to go to the next slide? So I got a short video. Hopefully it'll play okay, just to give you guys an introduction to AFRL, and then I'll get into my talk. Brandy, did you take your headphones off?
My headphones are Let me, I'm sorry, Dr. Stargell. Let me start again. I apologize for that. Just a moment.
All right. Well, don't worry about it. We can let's skip the video. We seem to have lost audio there.
I apologize for that. It worked just a moment ago. Sir, if it's all right with you, I'll turn the presenter's role over to you so you have control of the slides.
Got it. Thank you. So yeah, sorry about that, guys. We had a pretty nice marketing video there that highlighted some of the Air Force Research Laboratory's research areas across both air, space, and cyber. So hopefully we'll get a chance to show you guys that at a different time. You can also search on YouTube for Air Force Research Laboratory overview, and we have a couple of videos there that could introduce you to some other aspects of our organization. So as we mentioned, we're across the U.S. Air Force Research Laboratory is the primary research arm of the U.S. Air Force. Our headquarters is in Dayton, Ohio. That's where I'm calling in from. But we have offices in Rome, New York, Arlington, Virginia, down in Eglin, Florida, Kirtland, Mexico, and out of California as well. And we have operating locations in Tennessee and Texas. And then we're international too. We have 3 international locations in Santiago, Chile, London, Tokyo, and we have a site in Hawaii that does optical research as well. So we're across the U.S. We do a lot of business with mostly defense contractors, but as you know, we do a lot of business with small businesses as well. So that's one of the reasons we're coming to this type of platform, is to reach out to businesses that we may not traditionally work with, and hopefully find a way to provide you an opportunity to provide solutions to some of the problems that we have. Now, of course, we don't have time to get into all of the problems. We're going to highlight 3 specific for this venue, but then I welcome you guys to feel free to reach out to me if we want to discuss some other areas. I'm more than happy to do that. So as you mentioned, I'm with the 711 Human Performance Wing. Our job is to look at all aspects of how the human performs in the Air Force, whether it's how we train them, whether it's how we augment them so they can do their jobs better, so that we can, do things like human-machine teaming and other things. Let's go to the next chart. Oh, I have the control. I'll go to the next chart. So these are our technical competencies. So these are areas that we are interested in. From a basic research standpoint, our Air Force Office of Scientific Research, which is based in Arlington, Virginia, really does the fundamental research for the Air Force. So their basic 6-1 research in the various areas shown there. So everything from physics, electronics, to mathematics and information and life sciences. The other technical competencies are in our other technical directorates. So we have aerospace systems that really looks at everything related to flight, from the vehicle to the propulsion to avionics and thermal management. Directed energy, where we look at things like high power electromagnetics, lasers, directed energy. Our information technical directorate that really looks at command and control and decision support, and cyber science as well. And then materials and manufacturing, that really underlines everything that we build and we field. Everything from structural materials, functional materials, and we provide support for our operations. We also have a munitions group that looks at fuse technologies. How do we do terminal seekers, navigation and control for munitions, and then sensors really looks at how can we do spectrum warfare, how can we do sensor exploitation, both on the RF side as well as the electrical optical side. And then you guys have probably heard about the stand-up of the Space Force. But before that was actually initiated, within AFRL, we had a technical director that was specifically focused on space vehicles. They will now be one of the primary arms for the Space Force, but they look at electronics in space, remote sensing, and then any types of space experiments that we want to have happen. And then the last one is my organization, where we do all aspects of human performance, from training, decision-making, bioeffects. So that's kind of understanding how the directed energies and electromagnetic weapon systems that are out there, how they actually affect both our operators as well as the end effects of those types of systems. And then human-centered ISR, which is information, surveillance, and reconnaissance. So how do we work that process so that we can make decisions faster and more effectively for huge data sets that are coming in. And again, we do this across a spectrum of timelines. We have needs that we have to have solutions for today. But our job really is to be the venture capitalist for the Air Force and to develop the technologies that are going to create the new Air Force in the future. So you can see we spend a lot of money across all those different spectrums, but our job is to lead the discovery, development, and integration of warfighting technologies for airspace and cyberspace. So we're very broad, and there's a lot of needs that we have. You can see out in the far term, you may have heard some of the things in terms of CHAMP, which is a directed energy platform, or a hypersonics platform. Autonomy is a big one right now, being able to have remotely piloted vehicles that interact with human piloted vehicles in a synergistic fashion as well. Let's go to the next. So how do we do this? Air Force gives us about an annual budget of about $2.6 billion into AFRL. We also have a lot of external partners. We work with a lot of the program offices for the fielded systems. So we augment that with probably about an additional $2.6 billion. So we're about a $5 billion organization as a whole for AFRL. And with that money, we do, like we said, when I said we were venture capitalists for the Air Force, we take that money and we make investments as well. So we invest about $300 to $400 million a year into academia to have professors and students looking at foundational research for the Air Force. Again, another $1.5 billion goes into small business. You guys have probably participated in some of the small business innovative research programs, the STTR programs, but then we also do other transactional authorities direct with small business as well. So I definitely, if you're a small business on here, I definitely encourage you to explore some of those avenues. And if you need some help, please feel free to reach out to me or anybody else that I can put you in contact with. Again, when we talk industry, we're talking the defense industry. We do work very closely with the Boeing, the Lockheed Martins, Northrop Grummons of the world. So we do invest a lot of money with them as well for our development, because we don't actually build systems within AFRL. We are the technology developers and the technology advisors for the Air Force. Industry is really the partner that brings the fielded products to our warfighters. So we definitely have a very close relationship with them. Because of that, we also invest almost $1 billion in-house for our own research so that we can be on the cutting edge of technology and help provide these solutions and this advice to our purchasers and our acquisition community. And then, the world is a huge place. We're definitely interested in making sure that we are aware of what our allies and partners across the globe are doing. So we do also invest about $100 million internationally with both universities and companies that are and other governments across the world. And again, you see the products there, everything from basic research to IP, all the way down to really fielded capabilities, where we're actually building and producing new aircraft and new technologies for the Air Force. Excuse me. So why do we have to do this? Again, we have to be very forward-looking because in these times, we have limited budgets. We don't have, an unsurmountable defense budget. So we have to be smart about where we place our money. We have to be able to leverage new industries. Right now, you guys know that the Googles and the Amazons and the Facebooks, those industries are actually leading in the area of autonomy and AI, remotely piloted stuff. We really look to partner and leverage with them where we don't have to redevelop, reinvent the wheel. We like to make sure that we're keeping track of what's happening in those industries as well. And why do we have to do that? Because we do have near peer and rogue states. China and Russia are two of our closest near peers that we have to make sure that we're aware of what they're doing and making sure that we stay hopefully one step ahead of them in the technology development arena. We're getting into much more contested environments where we're getting GPS denial, we're getting areas that we can't access as easily as we would like. And then really, even as a consumer, you guys know the impact of cyberspace, the hacking and everything that happens. You can't go to Target and not have your credit card exposed to hackers. This is happening on the defense side as well. Cyberspace and electronic warfare are a key component for how we're going to conduct and execute wars in the future. So that's a huge area that we're interested in. So what we do, our job is to enable the future capability. Everything from being able to build things in remote locations through additive manufacturing, being able to maybe build runways out of native materials that are located in that site. Again, we talked about denial of access, so we want to be able to navigate not only using GPS. So we're looking at alternative means of navigation. How do we do our networks? How do we do our electronic warfare? And then, you know, in all of these systems, the key thing that links all of them is that there's typically an operator, a warfighter, a human in that system, and our job is to make sure that we can make their performance the best as best as possible, so that we can maintain superiority on the warfight, so that our troops can come back as minimally harmed as possible going forward. So I wanted to talk about 3 specific technology needs that we're looking at right now. There's some defense guidance out there right now in terms of an Arctic strategy where we're going to have to fight in areas that are extreme cold and freezing areas. So our warfighters have to go there, and smartphones and other technologies are an integral part of their gear and how they actually execute the fight. So we use them both for medical, being able to monitor patients, being able to communicate back to air evacuation sites, for safety and for tactical things that we have to do. But the things that we're seeing now in the Arctic area is that the smartphones don't always function well in these frigid conditions, you know, and if they do, it's not for more than a couple of minutes. So the thing that we're looking for and something that we're interested in finding are solutions that can help us extend the usage and life in these freezing conditions. You know, we're talking, you know, hours to days of operating capability in below freezing conditions. So, you know, it could be something where it's an integrated heating element into the body armor of the warfighter. It could be something as simple as an integrated heating within the case that's ruggedized and low profile that can help enable extended exposures to these sub-zero conditions. So we're not trying to propose what the solution is. The idea for this platform is for us to tell you what a problem is that we're experiencing, and to see if any of the small businesses have an innovative way for us to overcome this problem that we're having. So, you know, we don't want the cold to affect the battery life or the performance of the equipment. So we're looking for solutions to help that. So that's one of the needs that we're having today. Second one, another thing that we do, in terms of sensors, we do a lot of sensing of the actual aircraft. You know, we sense its speed, we sense its trajectory, we sense a lot of stuff with the engines and avionics. We don't sense a lot that's associated with the actual pilot or the human that's in that system. So one thing that we're looking for is an ability to have a sensor that can monitor the in-flight air quality. And one of the things that we're looking here, you look at the objectives, we want to be able to do real-time particles per million level of isopropyl alcohol detection. You know, these sensors need to be miniaturized, they need to be flexible, they need to be reconfigurable. And then again, they have to be ruggedized because we're not using these things in the laboratory. These things are actually going into the aircraft. They have to be able to survive, you know, G loading. They have to be able to survive altitude changes. And so that's another area that we're interested if you're a company that does sensor development as well. And we can put you in touch with the folks that are looking for this type of need. That just highlights some of the ranges that they're interested in terms of detecting the isopropyl alcohol, the range, the temperatures, the humidities that we have to deal with, and then the maximum concentrations on the left side there of isopropyl alcohol that we want to be able to detect. Lastly, well, still talking about sensors. Again, we operate our sensors, you know, at sea level, at altitude, and the sensors have to be calibrated for different exposures, whether it's high or low altitude. So we're very interested in sensing and sensor packaging technology that helps mitigate the baseline changes associated with altitude changes while also preserving the performance of the sensor. So being able to have a sensor that works the same whether I'm at sea level or whether I'm at a much higher altitude and provide the same type of readings is an area that we're also interested in. So if you're a company that's working sensors, I'd definitely like to get you in touch with some of our researchers to see if you have any solutions for those areas. So those are the three needs that I brought to this table. Again, we have a plethora of other needs, but we definitely wouldn't have time to go through all of them here. So with that, I'm going to stop and see if anybody has any questions that I can maybe answer.
Thanks, David Stargell. That was wonderful. Thank you so much. I do have a couple of questions that have come through in the chat and in the Q&A. I'm going to start with a question in the Q&A, and it says, has the desired feature set for the Arctic-enabled smartphones been fully listed within a product requirement document? And if yes, could we obtain a copy assuming that an NDA is signed?
I believe there is a product requirement document for that Arctic need. I don't have it handy with me, but I'll definitely reach out to our researchers that are working that area and find out, one, if we have one that's publicly releasable, so that we don't have to have an NDA. But two, if you're working in that technology space, we would definitely invite you to contact us, and we can explore whether or not an NDA or a CRADA, which is the NDA is really just a specialized CRADA, Cooperative Research and Development Agreement, that allows us to share information back and forth on these technology areas. But yes, I do believe we have that listed. I will check to see at what level we have that, if we can do it publicly or if we need to actually have an NDA.
Okay, and then a member of our team can help make that connection so that you can share if an NDA is required. Next question is, how does this process work? So if one of our attendees sees an application or has an application that seems to fit your challenge need, then how might you work together in the future? What would the next steps be?
So that's a great question. There are many ways that we could potentially work together. Like I said, we actively work in the SBIR, STTR arena where we put needs out and small businesses can respond to those needs. Outside of that, we have a separate group that's really looking at innovation pipeline. So we have a group that has some funds that we'd have to figure out which type of contracting arrangement would work. I mean, I know we have the ability to do OTAs. We also do subcontracting if we have, other, IDIQ type contracts that we already have in place. So there's a lot of different ways that we can figure out to work together. If the solution is something that we're interested in, we will definitely find a way to find some funding and get you guys partnered with us. We've done stuff through universities, so if you have an affiliation with Georgia Tech, there's a chance that we could work directly through Georgia Tech to look at that type of funding. But it depends on the particulars of the organization and the need. So I think that's something that we just have to tailor to the individual once we find out who has a potential solution and how we could potentially partner with them. But there's a lot of different ways.
Okay. I know that most of the people who are on the call today probably know this, but I'm going to ask for myself. Can you explain what an OTA is, please?
Okay, so OTA is Other Transactional Authority. It's an authority that was handed down from Congress to help us streamline our contracting capability. So it gives us a much broader ability to work with companies and to establish contracts with companies outside of the traditional contracting experience. So OTA is really just another authority that's been given to the Air Force to help us streamline partnerships with other companies.
Okay, great. All right, I have 3 more questions here. The first one is an easy one, I hope. Is there a timeline, or are there project milestones on these 3 projects that are already in place or to be considered?
Not as such. I mean, the Arctic strategy was just released this past year, so there is an Arctic strategy. Again, sooner is always better for us. But no, there's no set timeline or milestone. This was really just the casting the net into another lake of potential solution providers, and we don't know. It could be something, if it's something that's already commercially available, it's definitely a shorter turnaround for us in terms of taking something that's commercial off the shelf and modifying it for government use. So it could be from that side. Some of the sensor stuff is much further down the line. So it's a complete range.
Okay. I'd like to ask another question. Is it easier for you to work with a technology if it's already out in the market, or are you also interested in things that are innovative and never been done before?
Definitely both. Still interested in both. So again, a lot of the work now in SBIR, STTR is really focused on transition of technology, and there's been a huge push for us to modify existing commercial capabilities for government needs. So yes, we're definitely interested if there's something already commercially available. But again, we are the venture capitalists for the Air Force, so we are also interested in the innovative, not proven, pie in the sky ideas that could have potential benefit for the Air Force in the future.
Okay. I have a different kind of question here. This question is, does the Air Force Research Lab have technologies available for licensing out?
Yes, definitely. So I think most of we have technology transition offices. We have a small business office. I can't think of the name of the website where all of the technologies for licensing are housed. I think it's TechLink or something like that. I'll get that back to you guys to share with the group. But there is a centralized location where we publish IP that we've developed in-house that's available for licensing by companies outside. We do that on a regular basis.
Okay, wonderful, wonderful. I'm going to make one more call for any questions. If any of the attendees would like to put a question. Oh, I see another one. Great. This is for the Arctic strategy. And I'm sorry, I don't know what all of these letters and numbers mean. I'm going to do my best. For the Arctic strategy, is there a MIL-STD, such as an 810G, for compliance to be considered?
I'm sure there is. We have, so that's a MIL standard. We have MIL standards for everything. I did not request that from the researchers that provided me with the need. I will investigate that and see if they are working from a particular MIL standard for Arctic operations or not. I don't know that off the top of my head, but I'm sure there is a MIL standard for below sub-zero operating conditions.
Great. Okay. Any other questions? No, I think we've covered all of the questions. Dr. Starkle, any closing comments you'd like to make before I turn the slide deck back over to Donna Ennis?
No, I just want to thank you guys for your time. I definitely appreciate the opportunity to provide a little bit more exposure to some of the needs that we have. Again, we have a lot more needs than can be described in this short period of time. So please make sure you go out to airforceresearchlab.com. There's a lot of information there about how you can partner with us. If you're a small business, we definitely want to get you involved with SBIR, STTR programs. And if you're an HBCU or minority serving institution, we also have dedicated programs that are run out of AFOSR to help with that arena as well. And then if we have any faculty on the line, definitely want to offer the opportunity for you guys. We have a summer faculty fellowship program where we bring faculty into our labs over the summers to work side by side with our researchers to have a better understanding of Air Force needs. So yeah, really just we're be happy to entertain any of those across the board.
Okay, well, thank you so much, Dr. Stargell. If we were face-to-face, I would be clapping for you. I really appreciate it. I know that you've given us just a snapshot of the opportunities that are available in terms of technology solutions. So I encourage those on the line who have a solution to apply via our NEXTTECH website at nexttechpitch.com. And so as we move forward, I wanted to let you know that the process will be, if you do have a technology solution, please put in your application at nexttechpitch.com. Jamarcus King or Brandy will reach out to you if they have not already, and we will for conversation and a discussion around your technology, and then we will be working with Dr. Stargell to determine exactly where we would have you meet or who you would meet at the Air Force Research Laboratory. So we really, really, really appreciate your support, Dr. Stargell, with this pilot initiative. And as we close, I just wanted to let everyone on the line know that our next NEXTTECH program will be on Tuesday, November 17th, again at 1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. We're going to have a little bit of a different focus for this one. We're going to be looking for technology solutions around COVID-19 and or pandemics. We are working with a number of agencies at this point. Jamarcus is working with agencies to identify those challenges, and we will be putting some of the challenges up on the website shortly. So check back regularly with nexttechpitch.com. Our next one is November 17th, and it will focus around COVID-19 solutions as well as solutions for pandemics. For this particular challenge, this is the wrong one. For this particular challenge, the applications close at the end of September. So this says November 30th for the next challenge, but for this challenge, the applications close on September 30th. So if you have not gotten your application in already for the Air Force Research Laboratory Challenge, please go to the website, again, nexttechpitch.com. If anyone on the line is a buyer and would like to participate as a supporter and a buyer to the program, do reach out to me at donna.ennis@innovate.gotech.edu, and you can check us out on our social media that's listed here. As we close, I just want to say this week we're celebrating Minority Enterprise Development Week with MBDA. So please, if you have not checked out medweek.mbda.gov, please do so. There's a lot of great programming virtually for you to learn what companies are doing, how they're reimagining their businesses, how they're developing relationships. You'll get a chance to hear from all of the national award winners, how they've been able to grow their companies. So make sure if you have the opportunity this week to check out some of our MedWeek activities. And finally, we're doing something different MBDA this year. Our whole entire network, Saturday, September 19th is Buy Minority Business Enterprise Day, or Buy MBE Day. So we encourage all of you on Saturday to go out and purchase products and services from minority-owned businesses. And then finally, we were awarded funding from MBDA for CARES, from the CARES Act. So we have launched our CARES Act Assistance Program. That program allows us to bring unique training and technical assistance in a variety of areas as listed here. We're also focused on helping any of our companies who have gotten the Paycheck Protection Program funding, the PPP. We are working diligently to ensure that you're in compliance so that you can have that loan forgiven. We're operating some pivot strategy programming. Brandy is operating a pivot roundtable that we're calling Thrive to Survive Pivot Roundtable. And we're doing some sessions, listening sessions and roundtables around what's happening in our small business and minority business world community. All of this is to help for you to continue to survive and thrive during this unique time that we have and beyond. And so with that, I want to say thank you, everybody, again. Thank you again, Dr. Sargell. I know this is just the beginning, hopefully, of a long and fruitful relationship with you and our minority businesses. And we want to thank everyone on the line for joining us for NEXTTECH 2020. And hopefully we'll see you in November, on November 17th. Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you, Dr. Sargell. Appreciate you.